there's a speaker that I actually really like, named Bashar, who says that he has a very different definition of addiction, the word addiction. He says addiction is something you do over and over and over again because you don't realize you're doing it. And when you realize you're doing it, it becomes a choice. And I really am discovering that's the truth for me, is that everything I'm doing, there's always, anytime there's anything, there's some underlying habit that we're just not aware of. So there's all these different things inside of us that we're just not aware of. There's an awareness issue. And whenever we're even in an argument with another person, there's something we believe and we're not seeing a bigger picture. And whenever whatever it is. So to give you an example, I've had it before where I'm in an argument with my fiance and I'll think to myself, she doesn't understand me. And that'll make me upset. And then I'll hear all these things that different speakers have said, like the number one thing everyone wants, and I've said it, the number one thing everyone wants is to feel understood. And that is true. But what my awareness wasn't showing me was also that I need to learn to understand myself. Like that I can actually sit in meditation and understand and feel heard and really discover that without knowing it, I was addicted to being understood outside. Because no one can understand every person all the way, but we can understand why we do what we do and go inward and understand ourselves. So that makes what I have going outward an addiction until I understand it, until I understand the root cause of it, the real thing. And then it's a choice. And sometimes I forget and still want to feel understood, but I can all of a sudden switch to, do I understand me? And in those moments, it's more of a choice than a problem, and I can catch it quicker. And with almost everything we're struggling with, it's that we don't understand something under it. And what's cool about life is it'll make us struggle until we understand that thing. And I think for me, one thing that I'm catching is an unconscious truth seeker that had some major experiences that really felt like truth to me. And I've spoken about those concepts, and they still serve a purpose, and they served the purpose of getting me to where I am, I believe, until one day I find this to be false awareness. But I can see that there's a part of me sometimes when I go deep, deep, deep inside myself. If something's feeling off, there are these principles that show up in me that I believe I'm supposed to do. Through all the different speakers and the different revelations that I've had in my past, oh, I'm supposed to take this action. Or I know that a low means something. There's times where I know that when I have a low, that means something good is coming. I tell people that, and I know that's true. And sometimes I know that quicker than I feel the low. Sometimes I know right away that thing's coming, and I stop myself from feeling it. And then I don't learn until later that I was doing that. Later I discover, oh, like I wasn't actually feeling the low. I have all these principles in me. I have all these things that I know are true. And there are these principles that I've taught that really did serve a purpose for me, like let go of something that feels heavy. And there's times where I've shown that to people and it did help them and served a purpose, but I can see now that those were experiential truths at the time, but all of those things might not be the deepest truth. And some of those principles sometimes can prevent me from learning more. And today I caught this habitual truth seeker that I didn't realize was such an unconscious thing in me. And I caught it through struggle. I caught it through not trying to catch it. Your mind might unconsciously be hearing that and going, how do I find that thing? Or whatever. Like, we all have all of these unconscious things, and we do that because we're not aware of something deeper. And I can see, and today I located and caught and found this part of me that can get love through strategy. It keeps the kid in me alive that got love from my parents externally. And I don't even want to go through what it is. Like, I can see all of these things and why it is. But more importantly was I see it, and I can see how at the deepest level, all these things that I discovered in the past were principles that I'm trying to use now that are stopping me from discovering what wants to be discovered now. And at the time, they were true truths that I discovered and learned because I fell into some real place and surrendered, or went to a place where it was too hard, and then those revelations showed up. So then I'm now hitting wall type things, and then those revelations show up from here, not here. So I don't go here. And I can see this unconscious level of truth seeking that shows up and is actually causing the suffering, because our minds try to mentally find the thing we knew before as the solution, and then they prevent us sometimes from actually feeling the next level that we need to feel. So in some ways, of course, there's still a truth seeker, but I felt a level of it die today. And I got more excited about being a professional learner. Like, I'm not saying now that's my plan, because that's a declaration that also isn't what I'm doing, but what I'm getting out of all of my meditations and all of my conversations and real experiences with my amazing fiance, and through the different work that I'm doing, is a lot more listening. And I could see just at the next event the idea of me bringing this next level in. That if someone's saying what they're going through, not necessarily saying it still could happen, say what the breakthrough is, but like being in more surrender, because that's the planet I feel like I live on now. Just like, wow. Like working with them in that way, like really listening to it with them on a whole new level and listening together. And when I first had that breakthrough, my mind was like, okay, so when I find the truth seeker, it's a lie. And then noticing that's the new truth seeker that's trying to come in, but can see it. Like, I can't help that it went to a deeper level. So there's less of a solution here, or a title or a theme, but more of a surrender. And just a listener. Just listening beyond. Listen to all the stories in you, or the silence, or your heart beating. It's liberation. For me it is today. Maybe that's not your truth, and I so respect that for you too. But for me, there's nothing we have to do. Life's going to do it. Life's going to take care of things. If you're in surrender to life, it's going to answer things you didn't even know you had questions about. In everything, in meditation, in whichever way you want to live your life, whether you're watching a bunch of movies or going broke or on Facebook, what's amazing about life is if you're really listening and open, it'll give you answers. And then it'll just give you, it seems to me like it'll just give you an answer that you need to know then. And it might be a truth for a while, maybe even years, but it might not be a truth later. And you can move past your belief system that you got from a previous breakthrough. And just listen now, as if it's a total new moment. So for me, I feel like I, without even trying, snap past some level of truth seeking that was used as a way to stop me from listening. So today is just my breakthrough, and I really respect wherever you are. And I'm just thankful that I have you to share this with. And hope you know that you're loved. In your pain or in your freedom, you're loved in all of that. And if you don't know that, that's okay too. Happy 4th of July.